Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and Patreon subscriber Otis is on a journey to figure out what deck they'd like to play, and this is one of the stops on that journey. This is Phelia Stoneblade. I have played this deck and versions of this deck a number of times on the channel before. It remains popular, it remains viable, and it does appeal to the type of player who wants to play a little bit more controlling. But this is the build that is a tempo deck. 3 Stifle, 3 Days, 4 Wasteland. There's versions of this deck that play 0 Wasteland, 0 Days, 0 Stifle, and just focus on things like Teferi and Narset to go into the late game. This is a low-to-the-ground tempo deck. You're trying to scam a little bit. Phelia Blinking Quantum Riddler is one of the combos. Phelia Blinking Stoneforge Mystic gets you more equipment out of your deck. Phelia Blinking Meteor Sword blows up all their stuff. And you have a reasonable chance of just putting your opponent in the ground and making them unable to play Magic while you do all that with all this tempo infrastructure. This deck doesn't need a lot of setup because it is popular, and if you follow my stuff, you've seen me do it before. I am going to lean into the tempo side, of course, because that is what this list asked me to do. And that is the difference from the last time I played this, where it was the more controlling build. Let's see how this feels. I'm on the draw against Larson, who is an Eternal Weekend winner with Cephalid Breakfast 2 years ago, and top-aided with Cephalid Breakfast last year. After the Nadu ban, Cephalid Breakfast did not recover, so I don't actually know what Larson's been up to in these streets lately. How many lands are in my deck? 20? I think that's good enough. I have 20 lands with a Surveil Land and a Brainstorm, and at my second mana, this hand becomes very good. Polluted Delta. Quantum Riddler for me. All right, I'll follow up with my own Polluted Delta. I wish I could stifle this. Don't have it. Uh-oh, is it the full mirror match? I'm not going to play around Stifle because Wasteland is just a more common card in the universe. Stoneforge Mystic. Well, I will give up the goat here by pitching Cryptic Coat, and now it is known that it's a Stoneforge Mirror. I don't know if my opponent is like Stoneforge Breakfast, or if Phelia is in this deck, or what's actually going on. I'll get my Surveil Land and hopefully just see a land on top of my deck. Quantum Riddler into the graveyard. Brainstorm, save me. Okay, I did hit it. I'm going to put back Murktide and Riddler and play Tundra. This is going to be clunky, but I think it's okay. Brainstorm. I also would not have forced that Stoneforge Mystic if I had these 2 plows in my hand last turn. Okay, I'm going to shuffle my deck with Stoneforge Mystic. That gets me some immediate value. And I'm going to take Meteor Sword to make this a problem for my opponent. Let's see that removal spell. All right, there it is. Oh, all right, well, I'm dead. Upkeep Orm's Chant. Didn't even wait for the main phase or see what you draw for turn, just ripping it off in the upkeep. Must have already had the win, and this has to be Cephalid Breakfast from here. Doing it in the upkeep is so... I'm not going to say BM, because I don't care, but it is definitely a flex of, I had it, I don't even need my draw step. All right, I'm just going to look at the deck. Okay, we've got black mana, Underground Sea is in there. Tamiyo, Cauldra. 2 Narcomoebas so far. Okay, 2 black sources, so this build can actually cast Dread Return if it has to. Thassa's Oracle and Dread Return are accounted for, so I am dead here, just getting the info. Cabal Therapy, there is one of those. Alright, I'll scoop to that. You don't need to know more. Okay. It is a similar deck to my own, except I can lose out of nowhere rather than can scam a Riddler. Like, they're using the flex slots to do that. And Riddler is much better than Narcomoeba if I just draw it and have to play normal, but obviously having Narcomoebas and Dread Returns in your deck gives you this whole gear that my deck does not have. I kind of like that almost everything that I can bring in here has function versus the deck normally. I don't want to have a ton of Force Negations and Consigned Memories in that don't line up against if my opponent just puts Tamiyo into play or something, but Rest in Peace turns off Tamiyo's middle ability, Lavinian Containment Priest attack for 2, Wrath of the Skies cleans up Urza Saga. Alright, what are we doing here? I'm on the play where Days is better, but also my deck has excellent removal. I don't think I need Batterskull in this matchup. I like the removal, I like Stifle, I like Wasteland. I might be overboarded here. If I shave one Wrath of the Skies, then I still have an out to a go wide board with Urza Saga. With only 2 weapons to tutor, I could go -1 Stoneforge. I am also bringing in 2 additional threats. Do I shave a Stifle or a Ponder? I think I'm going to go -1 Stifle. If I get Orm's Chanted, it doesn't matter what I have. So that's why I like these lock pieces, the Priest, the Lavinia, and the Rest in Peace. Alright, keep. Ice Hand. Opponent also kept 7. Tameo for me. Okay, Force Pitching, Narcomoeba. Alright. Opponent did have 3 Narcomoebas that we saw. Sometimes there's only 2, and that can affect what they can mill into. Tameo of your own. Hate that for me. It means I can't lose on turn 2, though. Alright, I'm going to set up Phelia, because Phelia Containment Priest is a combo. I can blink out their Tameo and it doesn't come back. Tameo in there. And Step Tundra. I don't expect this to stick around. My opponent is a white removal and blue counterspell deck. Yep, gone immediately. Okay, I would really like to hit a land here. I'm going to take the risk to Brainstorm. Cool, got there. I could now just pick off this Tameo, or I could set up additional, like another round of Phelia. I could also Wasteland. I think I'm going to go Rest in Peace Stoneforge Mystic on top and try to set up Phelia again. The fact I didn't just rip off Wasteland should indicate to my opponent that I've got something going on here. Okay, they are missing land drops. That makes this Wasteland a lot more appealing. I'll see what opponent does here. If it's just another plow, I might Wasteland the Tundra and zap Tameo. Okay. Face up Wasteland, and they picked up the basic island instead. Okay. Flipping Tameo in the end step. Okay. Wasteland your Tundra. Move to combat. Can't daze me here. There's no islands to pick up. I'm going to get Meteor Sword. It takes 3 mana to kill me for Nomad or Shuko plus Illusionist. It's not the island we saw. Cool, cool. I'm just going to pass the turn here. I'll wait until my opponent fetches to Meteor Sword. All right, now I'll do it in the upkeep. Opponent didn't fetch. If I could have clipped a land there, I would have thought about it. If I could have done this when Consign and Stifle are not available, I would have thought about it. But if opponent's just Diamond Hands, then I'm going to chill. Okay, here's a fetch. Got a Tundra. Island's back. I'm going to get my Surveil. I don't need land number 4. Ponder. Rizzler. Am I interested in Caracas? I don't think I care about that. Alright, I will take the land and I'll stack Riddler on top. This gives me some options. If opponent goes for the combo, I have Plow on Illusionist and Containment Priest. Alright, just banking clues over there. Stoneforge of your own forge. That got Cauldra. I'm going to lead on Containment Priest, because I would like to spend mana to the point where a Riddler draws 2 cards this turn. Right, that's just in there. If I draw Riddler, plow your Stoneforge, warp Riddler. I think I should fetch first. I don't want to draw that Caracas. Draw 2. There's a Phelia. Ponder. Swords to Plowshares. I like Stoneforge Mystic. Is just okay. Right, I'll take the Plow and the Tameo. It would take 4 mana to kill me here. You have to plow the Containment Priest and then assemble the 3 mana combo. Priest is gone. Alright, 1 down. I can spend all of my mana this turn if I want. Right, I'm going to Brainstorm and flip Tameo and see if opponent wants to fight over this. Flip back Tameo and Stoneforge. This lets me still cast all the cards in my hand. And the beats continue. I could equip this Meteor Sword at some point when I run out of stuff to do with my mana, but I have 3 mana to spend on my 3 untapped lands, and then I have a 5-drop in Warp. I could lose this turn. Opponent could go Orm's Chant land combo. Just dumped Undercity Sewers off of a Surveil, though. Saga. Illusionist, alright. No, thank you. Do we have the Force? Okay, Illusionist is gone. And step Phelia. Daze is possible here. I don't think my opponent has Force. Yeah, okay. Alright, Phelia is gone. I could get and immediately deploy Cryptic Coat. Does that matter? I could cast Quantum Riddler, draw 2 cards, but then I lose if my opponent has Cephalid Illusionist, which, based on the sequencing, my opponent did. Like, that sequence, I have to kill whichever creature they play first, so they did kind of force the issue. I'm going to put Swords to Plowshares back in my hand. And then Stoneforge. I'll at least get the coat. Might as well. An opponent did mill a Shuko involuntarily off of that Illusionist roll. I'm not going to lie, I don't remember if there was more than one Shuko in the main deck. But if they were counting on Shuko coming out of this saga, it might be off here. I guess it doesn't matter, and I should have just main phase Swords of Plowshares, because as soon as Illusionist resolves, they can mill their deck. So that doesn't actually change anything. We saw 3 Narcomoebas, there might still be 2 in there. End step, get the cloak, the coat, and there's a Tundra under there. Not a Phelia. Phelia would have been an insane hit there. Oh, Murktide Rage. My opponent can have access to 2/2s. I'll attack with my 3/2 unblockable. And I'll add a Murktide. Opponent is dead on board, though gonna have to do something here. Cracking the clue rather than making a construct, recognizing that's not how this game's gonna be won. And they have perfect information, and Swords to Plowshares doesn't break up their combo anyway. There were 2 Shukos. So using the plow would not have mattered. Okay, so we're just dead. There is... I can't stop my opponent from milling. I might be able to stop them from having enough creatures. Yeah, I guess I'll plow the Nomad and then just hope there's not enough Narcomoebas left. But there do appear to be exactly 3 creatures that I can see. Huh. Well, I haven't died, so something must be wrong here. Must be a Narcomoeba in hand, or Thassa's Oracle is there or something. Curious. I'm going to yeet Tamiyo to get this Swords to Plowshares back. And I'm going to attack with everything. Okay, you do have a plow to keep playing. Opponent goes to 6. I guess I'll plow this thing. I'm not sure what's going wrong, but I'm sure that I'm better off without that thing in play. I'm saving Stifle just in case Thassa's Oracle becomes a thing. I'm not stifling a fetch land randomly at this point in the game. Okay, pass the turn. Attacking with the Stoneforge does cost me a Cryptic Coat, bounce and redeploy here, but I can equip Meteor Sword to find lethal. Shuffled off the Ponder. Stoneforge Mystic. We're going again. I'm not stifling that either. It's probably going to get Cauldra again. My opponent has brainstormed since the last time we saw the Cauldra. Oh, fail to find. Sure. It was just already in hand still. Deal. Okay, this thing has Ward, which means opponent can't plow it. Might be able to plow their own creature to stay alive. Can I make an attack that beats that? No, but it doesn't matter. Okay. All right, something went wrong. Might have boarded out an Narcomoeba, but presented the combo and then didn't win is noteworthy. Is Consigned to Memory worth the spot? Because they have Urza's Saga and Stoneforge Mystic in addition to Thassa's Oracle. And I could stifle the Stoneforge ETB trigger, or I could stifle Cauldra making a Germ, both of which are pretty high impact. Stifle could hit all of those things, plus a Stoneforge activation. Yeah, I think Stifle is just doing more than Consign, and I don't even have all my Stifles in. Okay. Either Sworn Canonist could make it difficult for them to combo, but it also makes it hard for me to cantrip for answers. I don't think I'm going to Canonist. I'm going to go with the same 60. Okay, it's slow, but I'll keep it. Plow plus Surgical, that's 2 layers of protection against the combo, even if opponent does go on turn 2. And if they start on Tamiyo, I can just Caracas it. All to 6. Yeah, I can't get comboed this turn, I'll just play the Archive. Don't need another land. This is a pretty cool heads-up matchup where we have so many of the same cards, but they have a strategic advantage of having a combo, and I have a strategic advantage of my cards are actually good. Right, Ponder. Really wish that was Brainstorm. That's a lot of good ones, though. I'm going to go Rest in Peace, Phelia, Tamiyo, no Shuffle, and I'm just going to play Caracas here. As Caracas can keep opponent's Tamiyo off my ass, it can also protect my Tamiyo from removal. And my Phelia. What I would have liked to do here is play Tamiyo off of Island, next turn play Caracas for land, play Phelia, be able to protect both my legends. But that plays off curve into whatever. All right, this is probably going to name Plow would be my guess. Yep, you got one. The Phelia is lurking beneath, and the rest in peace under that. Just ripping off a Stoneforge Mystic here would be pretty tough for me. Oh, Thassa's Oracle, sure. We're just looking at 2 cards. Could even Flashback Therapy if you want, but yeah, what do I do with that? I could Surgical the Thassa's Oracle, so my opponent just has to play fair. Like, they strip Tameo, I go to town with Phelia. Yeah, it's just gonna have to do. All right, I'll take the Thassa's Oracle, and there does not appear to be any backup plan for that, which means my opponent has to beat me with Urza Saga and Cauldron Complete from this point on, and is Massacre, Ormschant, and Plow. Okay. All right, took the Oracle. I'm gonna lose Tameo here probably, or it depending on just taking Tameo, but just calling out that my opponent's answers or ability to win this game from here involves. I actually should have shuffled because I don't want Rest in Peace anymore because my opponent's graveyard doesn't matter anymore. But their ability to win does involve Urza Saga, which means this Wrath of the Skies is awesome. Right. Yeah, I don't even want this Rest in Peace. That was a mistake. I get this Narcomoebe out of my way. And do I play Rip? I don't think I do. My opponent could Ormschant to kill the Phelia, like Ormschant plus Swords to Plowshares. Or no, Caracas isn't a spell, so no, that doesn't even work. Cool. We're in good shape. I just need something to blink. Ponder, let's go. Wasteland, take you off white. That's pretty strong. I'm going to take this Brainstorm first and use that to get the Rest in Peace and the Plains out of my hand. Plains, Rest in Peace, gone. Wasteland. Attack. Yeah, I'm going to take them off white. Okay, didn't use the Plow. So valuing card advantage over tempo, like this would have gotten Phelia out of play for a turn cycle. Ponder. In the Massacre plus Plow would do it. I could have played some generic permanent. Like, I could have played the Rest in Peace 2 turns ago, and Phelia could be 4/4 right now if I was blinking that. Narcomoeba beats continue. I'm going to have a very good thing to flicker this turn, though. Another Plow. Stoneforge. Search for Meteor Sword, because I'm also going to search for Coat this turn. We got the GGs in the chat. Had enough? Alright, GGs. Yeah, having no cash out for Thassa's Oracle. The thing I was saying about my opponent has a combo, but I have good cards. If the combo's gone, my opponent only has bad cards for no upside, and their deck is just so much worse than mine. They know Wrath of the Skies is here already to clean up this Urza Saga and whatever happens, so yeah, pretty clean. On to the next one. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in round 2 with an Island Ponder Keep. I'm in. Raining 2 drops down until opponent gives up, or I'm dead. Some deep mulligans happening over there. Opponent's down to 4 cards so far. That's probably bad news for my extremely fair white card hand. But 4 is a very low mulligan. Alright, here we go. What do you got? Yep, of course. And it is untapped. Alright. That is honestly fine. They probably stripped the Ponder to deny my ability to look for Dazes or Stifles or whatever. But even if the hand right now, I guess if it's Dark Ritual plus Balustrade Spy, they just need to draw a mana source, which is half of their deck. But if they don't find those things, or if I find something like Wasteland, alright, good luck on taking the Ponder. I drew what was half of the best card in my deck. Alright, can I get a turn to operate here? Well, if there was Dark Ritual Spy. Okay, great. Come on, deck. Nice. Alright. Who is better here? I'm going to play Now I'm just going to hold up Phelia. Because that one heats up faster. And if I were to play Stoneforge, like I could have gotten Cryptic Coat, which is an upside to playing that card over other weapons you could play because it is blue. But I drew the blue card, which means I get to develop Phelia and then maybe start blowing up all their permanents. Stoneforge. Yes. Get Batterskull. I'm getting Batterskull first because if I grab the blue card first, that might look suspicious. I don't know if that's true or not. My opponent might not be dialed into that at all, but if I just slam the blue card into my hand, they have to start thinking about force. Or, I mean, they have to be thinking about force anyway, but that really kind of tells a story. But if I just grab it as the third equipment, maybe they get to think a little less. Dark Ritual. Force, pitching Cryptic Coat on this thing. Have they threaded the needle? They have not. All right. Well, they're going to have no lands starting now. That doesn't mean I win, though, but it is going to be hard for them to come back from this, I hope. And I do think this is better than holding up that Stifle, though I think holding up Stifle also wins here. Okay, 3 cards in hand. Are there 3 cards that can make 4 mana and play a thing? I think 4 is the critical mass. Yeah, because you would need a starting mana source to play Dark Ritual. That's only +2 with a land. Okay, cool. All right, stealing game 1 versus Oops All Spells on a deep mulligan. We take those, and then the sideboard comes in. This deck in general, the Phelia blue-white shell, especially the tempo one, actually pretty good into Oops All Spells. But you do have to survive game 1, where you have a bunch of awful white cards in your deck. But I did that. Okay, do I want to Stoneforge at all? And I don't need Batterskull, and I think I can have fewer Stoneforges. Having access to the Meteor Sword is still a nice endgame thing to work towards. I could shave a land here. I think Wasteland is probably worse than Plains, because I'm trying to actually cast my blue and white spells. Okay, pretty happy with this setup. All right, I need to get a turn. My hand is okay once we're there. All right, I'm going to snap Keep to show strength. If they spend time thought seizing me, my hand turns on big. If their hand just isn't good and they can't send turn 1, this hand is big. 5 cards. Untapped land. Moment of Truth. Am I getting thought seized? Okay, Cabal Ritual. Might just be dead here. If this is a Balustrades or a Undercity Informer, pass. Okay, just had the Balustrades by. All right. I needed 1 turn, didn't get it. Let's look at their sideboard plan here and then move forward with life. Yeah, I win that game on the play, obviously, but, I'm not on the play, so that doesn't actually mean anything. Okay, we've got Bridge from Below. I see 3 Narcomoebas. Pact, Pact, Pact. 1 Poxwalker. Got some Reanimate technology. I don't see a Creature Juke. Okay. Are all the things they need here before I concede. Yeah, Dread Return, Thus Oracle. Okay. All right, so far, we've had a lot of fun, and now it's game 3 where I get to be on the play with my Stifle Daze deck. I will not be keeping sus hands this time. Okay, keep. Daze is excellent. Priest pretty much hard locks them if I get a second turn. Blooded Strand, pass. Opponent kept 7 this time. I think I will force a Thoughtseize if that's what my opponent does. This Priest is going to be harder for them to beat than a counterspell. A Cabal Ritual. That happens. Force of Will. Okay. We survived the hard part. And I'm just going to main phase Containment Priest. And my opponent would have active negation there if they had it. Or maybe not. If they don't have a mana, there might be a sequence where they have Pact but couldn't have used it there. But now I'm good to go. All right. Hand looks great. Missing land drops. Can't do anything. They're dead in 4 turns. As long as I don't accidentally blink out my own creatures, we should be okay. Phelia, Stifle, another Consign. I'm going to put that in the graveyard. That's how rolled up I am, opponent. Target nothing with Phelia. They're still playing Drago. No mana, no nothing. A Tundra. Opponent's dead in 2 hits. I have 2 pieces of interaction in my hand, plus the lock piece in play. Discarding to hand size. We'll get a little information here. Discarding a spy. Second Phelia. That does very little. Okay, they're now dead on board. Use it or lose it. Cool. I won the match, but I don't feel like I really did anything. A lot of fun was had. On to the next one.
The NYSE Open is returning on June 6, 2026 to Long Island, New York. This proxy-friendly vintage tournament has the guaranteed prize pool of 8 pieces of Power 9 to be drafted by the top 8 based on final standings. Any additional profits made from the event will be added to the prize pool as on-site vendor credit. This tournament has been great the last 2 years. How often do you get to act sad about winning just a time walk? You know I'll be there. See you at the NYSE Open on June 6 on Long Island, New York. Use my link in the video description or find the New York Stacks Exchange on melee.gg.
I'm on the draw in round 3 versus my Eternal Glory podcast co-host, Bryant Cook, who is, of course, known for playing the Epic Storm as his main deck, but he's also a YouTuber who could be doing a lot of things here. Plateau, LED, Opal. Forcing the LED is a little bit tempting there, but if he goes all in here, I'll just punish him. I think it would have led on the silence if he had it. You test me and you fail. I think I actually will keep Daze, because opponent only has 1 mana to play with. All right, here we go. Can I get off the ground? Not with that. I'm going to shuffle. Okay, found a land that at least Riddlers. I've got a Stinker in my grip. Swords of Plowshare is not where you want to be. Stifle is exactly where you want to be. I'm actually going to hold for a turn because I could use Stifle to scam in the Riddler that I'm really cooking. And look what happened. Quantum Riddler, draw a card, another Riddler, fetch. Using Stifle to get this thing into play, not always how you want to play against Storm, but I think on these low resources with days still available, this is how I'm supposed to do this. I think getting him dead in 5 hits is going to be way more important than holding up Stifle for 10 turns until he can beat it. Okay, went for the all-in with no protection, and I was ready. Ethersworn Canonist, pretty dope. Lavinia, pretty dope. Lavinia, also the name of Bryant's second child. His daughters are Thalia and Lavinia, for those who are not following the lore. It's Thalia, Karn the Great Creator Cook, and Lavinia, Mindbreak Trap Cook, are his 2 kids. Right, Swords to Plowshares. I don't actually want any. Hexing Squelcher could be part of this game, but I have lock pieces, and I have other ways to remove things. I actually do like Wrath of the Skies. I like Consign. I like Hydroblast. I like Force of Negation. I like Blue Elemental Blast. Rest in Peace cuts off 2 of his lines. I guess that is worth having. And this matchup is not as extreme as Oops, but it is similar in a lot of ways. I'm actually going to shave a Daze on the draw, because I'm bringing in 10 cards. It's not like every card has to be a 10 out of 10 here. Wasteland is part of the plan. He just said in the chat, my deck is good against everything he plays. Yeah. Yeah, the Stifle build does give you a lot of juice versus these combo decks. And maybe on the draw, I'll just cut 2 more Dazes and rely on my other things to make it happen. Surgical is not a 0, but it's also not very good. All right, let's go. And we recently did a whole podcast about why Storm is okay and Oops is not in a Legacy format. And just the difference of my opponent last round going all in on Balustrade Spy. If I have Force, they lose. And if I have Force, they lose. If I don't have Force, they win. That was my opponent. If I don't have Force, we both draw 7, and then we play on. And still mostly loses if I have Force. All right, I'm going to keep. Just more has to go right for Storm. They have to work harder. They have to build their deck smarter. It's just more interesting. All right, LED. Knows I'm a blue deck now. Dark Writ. Ooh, the double Echo. Hell yeah, brother. And I'm going to force one of them. This builds Storm, but it does take an Echo out of the deck. Yeah, if I had forced the LED, his hand is kind of nothing here. Okay. Well, he spun me into a no-lander. This is dangerous. All right, land off the top. Easy game. Uh-oh. Well, I guess I'll discard Wrath of the Skies to hand size. You got me. I do have double Force, double blue card, though. We play on. Ursa Saga, shit. I just discarded a Wrath of the Skies. And there's Hexing Squelcher? Oh no. Alright. We're cooked, team. This is not the traditional Epic Storm. Alright, well, I can't concede yet, but I don't like this. And maybe I should be more comfortable forcing a Lion's Eye Diamond. The problem is if that same hand is 2 Lion's Eye Diamond, 1 Echo, instead of 2 Echoes, 1 Lion's Eye Diamond, then I just lose anyway. I think after discarding that Wrath of the Skies first, my outs are now basically 0. Caracas. Alright. Yeah, that's such a beat. I was not expecting Urza Saga to come out of the deck. The Epic Storm doesn't play that card. And Wrath for 0 here actually does completely stabilize me and blow up at least 1 mana source. Oh, a white source off the top might have been a player. Alright, I'm getting silenced. Alright, I can't counter that. I was about to force a negation it. Alright, let's just see more of this deck while I die. LED, Opal, Grit, Burning Wish. Oh, we're going to peer into the abyss. If I still had plows in my deck, all right, I'm dead. If I still had plows in my deck, plowing the Squelcher, pay the 2 life, it dies, I force this, then there's a game. Okay. Celestial Purge is interesting because that can hit Wishclaw Talisman and the Song of Creation as well as Hexing Squelcher, and then I don't have to have Swords to Plowshares in my deck versus the combo opponent. I do kind of want to cut a land here. I might cut a Plains, actually. Yeah, Wasteland's actually good enough, especially knowing that Urza Saga's in the deck. You could talk me into playing the Prismatic Ending as well, but I'm already having trouble cutting things. All right, I will keep this. The Double Force helps me on turn 1 at least. Can't play my Tameo, but I'll at least have a land in play if I get wheeled, unlike last game. I think my pitch order here is pitch the Cryptic Coat first, then pitch the Ponder, and rely on Tameo when I find my blue source to start doing stuff. Oh man, he's chasing the dragon over there down to 4 cards. And if his 4 cards are like land, Squelcher, I might still lose. So this Wasteland from the top rope could be pretty effective. Caracas, go. Alright, so land, silence, LED, echo is a sequence that gets me. Raucous Theater. Kept the card. Hell yeah. Alright, cool. I was about to start internally debating whether I should waste this Raucous Theater or save it for an Urza Saga, and then I was presented with an easy decision anyway. Oh, alright, well, now we just get it all. What do you get for the man who has everything? Okay, Brainstorm. I'm going to put back Island and Tundra. I am going to Wasteland this turn. Bang. Alright, I hope you needed that. Okay. That was a good play, or a good draw. But you need mana to use that thing. Alright, well, I want to clear the top card of my deck, but I could just play Cryptic Coat to do that. Like Cryptic Coat, there's an island under it, and my hand is still force blue card, and I can Ponder next turn. I have so many good cards in my deck, though. I'm just going to cast Ponder. Rest in Peace. Pretty nice. Okay, don't shuffle. Play Tundra. Plus Tameo. Play Rip. That at least cuts off some amount of outs. And then I'm drawing Consign next turn, and Tameo is just out here. Okay, so this can make a construct. I could have forced any number of these things. All right. I'm actually going to force this Opal. I don't want the constructs being too big. I want it to hurt to use that Urza Saga. I guess I could have pitched Murktide Regent now that I just resolved Rest in Peace. Oh, Island's on top of my deck. All right, I can do it all here. All right. Draw a card, play my land, and then still have all the same things represented. All right, we've got a 2/2. I'm going to have to stifle or consign the Saga Chapter 3 so Tameo can stay large and in charge. Like if Tameo takes 1, I can still draw half my deck next turn. All right, how hard do I want to chase this? Force pitching Murktide. I'm going aggro as fuck is the answer. Tempo Gaming. All right, let's see if drawing half my deck is good enough. I have deleted all of my resources to get this far. That's awesome. All right, well, I'll just rub that one in first and then draw half my deck. Sick. Okay. I cannot imagine losing this game anymore. And we're done. GG's. Cool. All right, some cool back and forth. The Urza Saga took me for a loop in game 2, but I was ready for it game 3. On to the next one. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I am on the play in round 4 versus a 61 card deck. Oh no. I mean, my hand is really good against that sort of nonsense if it is oops, but my opponent having a 61 card deck is the difference between me developing this Tamiyo or not. That's really annoying. So I have been tricked in the past, and I feel like this username is the person who tricked me. I'm going to rely on Days and develop the Tamiyo. I'm going to play the game in a way that I think is correct and not extreme. Okay, yeah, good. Didn't fall for it. Mox Diamond, Exploration. Well, Days was not very good, turns out. Okay, I found a place. I will Daze and Malevolent Rumble. I'll Daze just about anything in this spot. Yeah, I feel like I've queued into this exact user before and said, oh no, they have a 61 card deck, and then they're on just like fucking lands. And guess what? They are. Okay, I drew my land, which means I don't have to play this Ponder. I can hold up the Stifle and pass. Stifle's pretty reasonable against lands. Dang. Well, they have Light from the Loam. That makes things pretty unreasonable. As a fair blue deck, this is not the setup you want to see. Like Loam without Exploration, sometimes okay. Can I draw access to basic planes? I'm getting my crop rotated in the upkeep. Sure. Is this going to be Caracas or Ghost Quarter? What are we doing? Caracas confirmed. I'm not going to stifle this or interact with it in any way. Oh, well, man, the Loam has me beat. The other card, important card in my deck, is also a legend, it turns out. All right, how do I do this? What's in my deck that can help here? I don't have any main deck graveyard hate. I do have a Meteor Sword. I don't have a Force of Negation. Yeah, I'm kind of like already soft locked here, but there is room for my opponent to make a mistake, I guess. But not really also. I'm going to cast Ponder. Quantum Riddler, Force of Will, Stifle. I could scam out this Quantum Riddler next turn. Okay, don't shuffle. I'll play Polluted Delta, and I'm just going to pass. We'll see what Loam comes up with and determine if I need to force it. Okay, cool. Just Loam full mist there. I can get back Beseiju and then just be sitting in the graveyard. That's okay. Sphere of Resistance. I don't really want to play against that. All right. Worst pitching Daze. And then I'll scam out this Riddler and hope that does anything. A Wasteland. I'm going to get another basic island. Riddler. Drew the other Riddler. Okay, can I connect with this 5 times before my opponent dredges anything that matters off of Light from the Loam? They are currently Hellbent. Upkeep Wasteland. Did not dredge Loam. Just drew Loam. Okay. How did they know? Okay, Wasteland's here. Oh, all right. Tamiyo Brainstorm. Is that a combo? Is that a useful interaction in the Legacy format? I don't know. I haven't seen this before. I do have to dance around the Caracas, but I'm in a position where I can do that. Boom, baby. Okay, I did find a land. And I did find a threat that's not a legend, but I can't access planes, so it doesn't immediately matter. A dredged loam found Bajuka Bog Dark Depths. I've been bogged. Murktide not coming to save me here. Dark Depths. I'm a crop rotation or a good loam away from death. Plus Tamiyo. Attack for 4. And I'm going to play Stoneforge Mystic because I need the shuffle. Yeah, prime Wasteland target for you. But I can't stop it. Do I want Coat to deal damage faster? Batterskull does actually get me out of Merit Lage range. All of this is contingent on me drawing a white source. The Cryptic Code I could just play, though. 4, 5, plus 7, 8. Yeah, Cryptic Code actually does change the clock. Alright, I'll take Cryptic Coat and pass. Alright, I need my opponent to whiff pretty hard for 2 more turns. Alright, just slow melting the depths, take a counter off it, deal. Dredged Loam hit Wasteland and Yavimaya. Okay. We're still clinging to life here. Daze. Not great. I can warp the other Riddler. I can also draw with Clue. Are these the same thing? I can't hit Stifle. All right, I will warp the second Riddler. Another Phelia. Not ideal. And missing on that land is going to buy my opponent an entire turn to play. They can be a 1. Loam hit Urza Saga. That one's not quite fast enough. Just keep fading that Thespian stage. A Tundra, okay. That opens up some options. Or there are 2, not 1. What am I talking about? I don't know how anything works. All right, I'll attack with Riddler. Leave back Stoneforge. This mostly doesn't matter. I guess I should have just played Cryptic Coat for mana. All right, well, here comes the coat. And now I can attack through a Merit Lage. I need them not to, like, draw Skateboard, I guess. Oh, just ripping off a Boseiju just like that. I mean, that's great. That gets Phelia online. I'll take the basic planes, unlock that one. And I do still get a 2-2. It's just not unblockable. Okay. Okay. What's going on around here? All right, they got to answer the Quantum Riddler and hit Ancient Tomb, Thespian Stage. Okay. Well, you're saying it's possible that I'd lose here. Does days matter? And I get to draw half my deck. That's pretty good. I am not going to daze. I don't think it matters, and me just being able to do more with the pile of stuff I draw matters. End step Phelia, which they can bounce with Caracas, but that's at least another thing they have to manage. All right. Phelia's been bounced. Draw for turn. Draw another half of my deck. Wow, Stifle is huge. Okay. You know, I'm a big Stifle hater. Like, I don't even mind saying that out loud. Straight up. Okay. But I see that it's good right now. I will begrudgingly accept that. I did not think I was going to win that game. If that Thespian stage showed up a turn earlier, I think I'm dead. But we take them where we can get them. Harbinger of the Seas, Force of Negation, Rest in Peace, Surgical, Wrath of the Skies for sure, for sure. Prismatic Ending, yes. Consign has a few hits. Celestial Purge can hit Merit Lage, but I'm very good at answering Merit Lage. I think a bunch of Swords to Plowshares are going to come out. Like I said, I'm very good against Merit Lage. Stifle's fine. Daze is actually very bad. As we saw that game, it did almost nothing. I guess it did snag that turn 1 Malevolent Rumble, which would have put my opponent 4 cards deeper into their deck, which would have found them the Thespian stage a turn sooner. Maybe 2 turns sooner, depending on how it all worked out. But so Daze actually did win me that game indirectly, but that doesn't mean it's good. Do I want any plows? I could cut the last plow, and then I just don't have to worry about that. Like, that is a clean 7 out, 7 in, but that is 0 instant speed answers to Merit Lage. And I have 4 Wastelands, so I have that. That can check Merit Lage. I don't think I want this plow. And we did see Sphere of Resistance, so the Wrath of the Skies do an extra Prismatic Ending pretty good. All right, I will try this. If this Lavinia was Meddling Mage, I would have it in. Just talking about flex slots here. This hand needs some help, but I am going to keep it. Force of Will on turn 1. That's the turn where you could snag an Exploration or a Mox Diamond even. A Sphere of Resistance if they power it out with Ancient Tomb. This is where this card could be highly impactful. Yeah, I don't want that involved if I can help it. Force Pitching Force. And let's just draw a basic island and make it easy. I hate using one of my things that could get basic planes here, but I am going to cast this Ponder. Yeah, another basic planes. Let's go. And a Stoneforge. Okay. Their follow-up here is going to be everything. Thespian Stage. Disruptor Flute. All right, what's the play? Swords to Plowshares. Swords to Plowshares. Oh no. What will I do? Those cost more. Okay. What I'm going to do here is play Stoneforge Mystic and get Batterskull. And if my opponent just has Dark Depths from hand, that is annoying, but no sequence of Phelia or anything stop that. But if my opponent plays Dark Depths but doesn't make the 2020, okay, so if they don't make it, okay, cool, I'm good, I'm good. Now if they try to go for it, I can Meteor Sword. I'm just gonna pass. Let's hope they think they got it here. Okay, so you copy that. The Legend Rule occurs. And surprise shell game. Show you the one that I already had that I didn't have to tutor for. All right, pretty good, pretty good. Oh, it's just happening again. Okay, we're back. Dang. All right, I'm going to attack with Stoneforge here. And Phelia is actually kind of perfect because if my opponent main faces Dark Depths, I just blink out Merit Lage. If they wait, Meteor Sword blows up their shit. And I have Stifle to cover any gaps in between. Okay, Phelia. All right, we're doing something here. I like it a lot. Attack with my creatures, flicker out Meteor Sword. And you have to stifle the Thespian stage activation here. You can't stifle the Make a 2020 because then when that resolves, the game will still see a Dark Depths in play with 0 counters on it and it'll just trigger again. Okay, stifle this activation. And then when Meteor Sword comes back in, I'll blow up Thespian stage. Or do they have 2 of those? Or blowing up Yavimaya actually takes them off green and off multiple mana. That's pretty nice. Okay. I wish I had found a 3rd land at any point so far in this game, but I have not. I've been doing this the hard way. Oh no. Another Yavimaya. Let's just play that turn cycle over again. Still don't have it. But still got this plan available. Flicker Meteor Sword. Another one. Meteor Sword's back. I'm going to take out Yavimaya again. I've not dredged Loam. Versus Saga. Okay. They cannot Merit Lage here because their Merit Lage Dark Depths doesn't tap for mana anymore. Oh my god. All right. I'm going to cast this Brainstorm and see if I can get out of this hole. All right. This is all 4 Phelias. That's more than I need. Thanks, deck. And I'm going to attack with just Phelia. Flicker the Meteor Sword. And my plan is to blow up Dark Depths. Or blow up Urza Saga. All right. They're just conceding. Wow. Nice. That Phelia double stifle tempo situation, that was cool. On to the final trophy round.
The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables.
I'm on the draw in the final trophy round. I'm going to Island Ponder, keep my hand. Opponent has Multi 6 on the play. Burden Catacombs. Disappointing. On the play, that shit is gone. Ooh, Stitcher Supplier. All right, little Hogak, maybe Pox. Oh, got it, milled over Hogak. Elvish Reclaimer and actual Hogak have appeared. I think Stifle might be one of the better ways I can use a turn here. Stifle plus Daze, try to keep Hogak out of the way. Stifling this, by the way. Pew, 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 pew. Stifle, stifle. All right, let's take that out. I don't know a lot about their deck. It might be Pox, it might not be. This does not cast Hogak. Did I miscount? Well, how did I miscount that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that was a Hogak from hand. They exiled the one from the graveyard. Okay, cool, cool. That does work, but I have Daze. All right, I have slowed them down a lot. Oh, okay. I'm going after the Bayou. I'm going to hope that their board is just Sylvan Safekeeper plus Stitcher Supplier and they don't do anything. And then we take over. Here come the beats. Okay. They are stuck in a squeeze over there. Can I get ahead of it? Those are all desirable cards. Okay. I'll keep the 2 lands on top. I don't need a third Brainstorm in my hand. I might just jam Murktide and get to work. Ooh. Okay, now I have other options. I could Wasteland again, or I could jam Murktide and get to work. Top card on my deck is the Brainstorm I don't want. Okay, I'm going to fetch a Tundra and cast Murktide Regent. Now I'm thinking about Phelia, because if I wait a turn, I can make Murktide big enough to trade with Hogak. All right, that was sloppy, but it's what's happening. I didn't mess it up too bad. It's just now I'm exposed to Wasteland for no reason, and I'm showing Phelia mana for no reason. Okay, no attacks. Phelia's in. Quantum Riddler. Oh, that one's good, right? We know about that one? Okay, I'm going to Wasteland first. If my opponent wants to trade their whole board for Phelia this turn, I think I have to be okay with that. Right, Riddler, attack, flick out Riddler. And they just have so little going on that, like, chump blocking with Stitcher could refuel the graveyard, but then you're not really close to Hogacking. All right, a Stifle, 2 Wastelands in a daze, and you can flip the script on someone who hit you with a turn 2 Hogak. Feels good. Okay, I want Rest in Peace. I want Celestial Purge. Again, white removal, great place to be. Lavinia always counters Hogak because those are the rules. Hogak can't be cast with mana. I didn't get to see a lot of what was going on. Elvish Reclaimer makes me think this is probably a slower, grindier take on this rather than kind of all in. Or, and I heard that there were Cradle Control lists that had a Hogak or 2 in them. That was kind of a piece they adopted. But Cradle Control doesn't play Stitcher Supplier. This is more of a Hogak deck than anything else. Okay, I will operate in that space. Daze had a moment there, but I think I'm off it for game 2. Stifle is pretty nice, but I still don't need 3 of them. Especially after dazing and stifling my opponent game 1. If they're going to play scared of that, it's like I have it even though I don't. Do I want Wrath of the Skies? Probably. I'll bring in 1 tentatively, and I'll think about it. I can probably shave 1 Force of Will, but I do still want the ability to say no to whatever I need to. Maybe Lavinia is just too cute here. Okay. This is what I'm doing. Keeping my premier threats, lots of answers to Hogak. Okay, I like my hand. I would like it more if I draw plains or an island. Opponent mulled to 6. Once upon a time. They mulled to 5.5. Don't know what this is. Could be anything. Could even miss on a land, and then they don't play any cards. Okay, Polluted Delta. You're in. You're in. Safekeeper. Okay. How safe do you feel is the question I have. I think I will play around Wasteland because I can afford to, even though that does make my hand hurt a little bit. Yeah, early Safekeepers, when you haven't ramped at all, like, go ahead, sack your land. I think this land and this creature are both important to my opponent's plan. Cool. 1 down. That's just like Wastelanding, except I get to have a land in play. And right now, if opponent has Stitcher Supplier that mills over Hogak, they can be in business. Okay, must not be the plan. Tapped Mortuary in the main phase. Playing around Stifle, that's what I'm talking about. They saw the card, now they got to think about it. Quantum Riddler. I could just put my opponent to no permanence here, or I could develop Phelia. And I think I want to trust in Phelia here. That just gets something going. Okay. No action from my opponent. No land, no spell, no attack. We might see a Fatal Push or a Snuff Out or something here. Okay, yep, Fatal Push. That works. And we're unlocked. Good news, everybody. All right, I'm just going to put my opponent in the garbage. I could Plow in response to remove that, but I don't think I care. Tameo and pass. And the Mana Denial did it! A trophy! Played against a spread of decks here. 2 combo decks, some grindy ones, or, well, 3 combo decks. We played against the most extreme combo deck in the format, and then a Storm variant with Urza Saga, and then also Cephalid Breakfast, which is like our deck but has a combo, and then lands and Hogak. So extremely grindy fair matchups and the exact opposite, and we covered all of it. Obviously, I'm fresh off of a league that went extremely well for me, but I gotta say the Stifle Daze Wasteland keep it low to the ground gameplay was pretty great here compared to grinding into turn 10, 15, whatever, flickering your planeswalkers with Phelia. Respect, kudos, gotta give it up. I think this deck's great. If you like grindy blue-white magic and you want it to be appropriate for the metagame, you want a good combo matchup, all these stifles and dazes in the main might get you there. If you hate Oops All spells, this deck is actually quite set up to battle it. You have forces plus stifle in the main, and then your sideboard, you just bring in 10 cards or something. Gotta say, I like it. Otis, if you are searching for a deck, this is a good place to look, good place to start. Everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon to support the channel. I'll see you next time.